Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. In today's video, we're going to start with digital asset investors tweet here with this video. It says, explain to me again why Ripple is being sued while Ethereum gets a free pass. Added Hester Pierce, Gary Gensler resigned, Vitalik Buterin, and Joseph Lubin, Mike Novogratz. Anyone? So let's take a quick listen into this video. It's interesting.
Sold 500,000 Ethereum to Mike Novogratz.
Right.
For like 99 cents or something like that. Tell me like the story of the transaction, which, well, would now worth almost $2 billion.
I mean, I think like I think like we in the foundation at the time, right? We had almost no fiat left and almost no Bitcoin left. All we had was the 3 million ETH, right?
Okay.
And so the foundation at the time like had almost nothing, and like we needed to survive. We needed to continue developing Ethereum, and the markets were not mature yet, right? So we were very frantically just looking for individuals who wanted to buy like ETH so that we could continue funding the team. And I think I forget exactly how we reached out to Mike Novogratz. Like we might have reached out to him, or maybe Joe reached out to him, or maybe he reached out to us. But then he wanted to buy some Ether, and like we were happy to sell some Ether because on the one hand, it was a very good deal for Mike Novogratz, and it was a very good deal for the other people that bought Ether, just like institutional at the time. But at the same time, like there was
So we don't have to listen to all of it, but I want to thank Riz XRP for putting that up in Digital Asset Investor. But he has a good point there. It's like you hear Gary Gensler and SC when they talk about their claims with XRP status being a security, and they talk about Ripple selling securities to fund their platform or whatever. It's like, well, you literally have one of the co-creators of Ethereum sitting here literally telling you what it was. Not saying that today's Ethereum is a security, but we're talking about past, initial their ICO initial coin offering is like, okay, it's playing this day, and we have multiple video footage and audio footage of them talking about the ICO, their funding, and then you hear all these other these buzzwords and these terms like lending and earning yield and all these different things, staking rewards and all this stuff. You got Gary Gensler going after platforms and other lending products, shutting down Coinbase's lending project. But then again, you have Ethereum. Now you have Ethereum 2.0 coming out, or consensus layer, whatever they're calling it. You have this whole merge they're talking about in regards of going from proof of work to proof of stake. So it's like with all the same terminologies that you're going against Ripple and XRP and Library and all these other platforms, Dragon Chain and so on. It's like, well, look at Ethereum. But you sent up, William Hinman to give the Ethereum free pass speech, declaring Bitcoin and Ethereum commodities and not securities. But what's the difference if we're comparing, these digital assets? It's kind of crazy, man, but this is the reality we're living in. Here goes Jeremy Hogan's speaking on this video that WheezyX put up with Professor J.W. Verrett. He says the SEC should be able to go down a list of the top 20 cryptocurrencies and tell us which are and aren't securities. Why not? Why does it choose ambiguity? I hate this word, ambiguity. Isn't it supposed to be protecting us from these projects that aren't following the law? Tell us. So let's take a quick listen into this because this is interesting as well.
Well, the SEC chairman has said that for most exchanges and centralized crypto exchanges and DEXs, I think he's referring to DEXs as well. He says there must be at least one security on your platform. Therefore, you're required to register with my agency. Unfortunately, and what I think is the first thing that's not really fair, can you tell us which ones those are and which ones those aren't? That would be nice, instead of this sort of game of gotcha. I'm sure I could find one security in the list, therefore you're required to register as an exchange. Let's see which ones are and which ones aren't. Tell me something specific. Now, when you ask him for more guidance about what is and is not a security, he says we don't give legal advice. I don't think it's a fair response, honestly, because I think it's not legal advice. I think it's just regulatory clarity. And I think that's the least we can expect from our regulator.
And that's true. That's a great point. And that's what we've been literally, preaching and talking about within the community for over a year and a half now. It's like, if you're so, if they have such a hard stamp on, this is security, this ain't securities, like why, when you say, come in and talk to us and, when these projects or these platforms come and have a conversation with you, trying to do the right thing, it's like, why aren't you giving them information they need? Why are you giving them roundabout answers? And why aren't you giving them anything specific? And what are you talking about? Legal advice. But you can send representatives out and talk about specific assets, case in point, Bitcoin and Ethereum. But then again, you can't even today come out publicly and claim whether Ethereum status is a security or not. It's kind of crazy. It's like, who are you protecting when we can't get the information we need as, investors in these companies that are putting out these, great products with real world use case and utility? Why can't you give them the proper information they need and level the playing field so this space can flourish? Kind of crazy. XRP Crypto Wolves hits it on the head down here too. He says, politics and control. SEC wants to overextend their power the same way they use the ESG as a backdoor to gain more power over companies. Climate change is very real, but they use it as an excuse to take advantage, the same way they used a weak global fluke to try and control us. So regardless of all the other information he has here, but I think it's politics and control for sure. And it's quite evident by the actions of Gary Gensler and the SEC and all the parties involved. Moving on here, this is from Bill. I thought this was interesting as well. He's responding to Empower Oversight's tweet here. It says, quote, SEC produced some records at the last minute. Given the SEC's pattern of bad faith negotiations and history of incomplete productions, we are skeptical that this production is fully responsive. So he tweeted this. He says, help me out, Johnny Deaton. How could discussions between the SEC Office of Ethics Counsel and the U.S. Office of Government Ethics about Hemmons' retirement payments be part of a deliberative process, even if a conflict arose from his involvement in a deliberative process? So then he continues down here saying, the exemption surely would apply to communications in the process itself, not considerations about whether an SEC person involved in the deliberative process has a conflict and should not be involved. So there's a lot of information there, but Johnny Deaton responds and says, Bill, as usual, you are on point. The amount of concealment going on at the SEC is extraordinary. Yeah, you think? Let me make sure I don't have any more here. Then he goes, Hinman didn't only get payments from a retirement plan in 2017 and 2018. And at the same time of his speech, he received two types of payments. One, $1.57 million in retirement, and two, profit sharing payments, which Bill's saying pretty much he wasn't aware of the profit sharing payments. He received almost $9 million in profit sharing plus retirement while at the SEC, meaning $15 million total. And that's why in the community we always reference the whole $15 million. All you have to do is pay William Hinman $15 million, and you can get regulatory clarity, or you can get a free pass for your project. It's kind of like a inside parody joke, but. Johnny Deaton has another response here to Bill here, where he goes, Bill says, I didn't even realize there was a profit share component. I thought it was all retirement payments. So the profit share makes the potential for a conflict more acute because it is a variable and could be impacted by favorable SEC decisions. Yeah, you think? So Johnny Deaton says, let me zoom in here. It says, in 2017, Hinman got $7.8 million in profit sharing. In 2018, he got $1.8 million in profit sharing. In addition to quote-unquote retirement money, this is why there was a complete 100 criminal bar against him having any contact with Simpson Thatcher. Yet he disobeyed the SEC Ethics Office again and again. And he puts up all these screenshots. Let me see. Oh, geez. Yeah, he puts up these screenshots here. Oh, geez. Lagging here. Yeah, it puts up these screenshots of kind of what was going on. But it's crazy that these are representatives that are in these positions of power, right? In positions of high influence, and literally they're, as you can say, what we say with Gary Gensler, protecting the incumbents, protecting their own pockets, lining their own pockets, and looking out for them and their buddies and their agenda. But they're not really looking out for the markets or the investors within the markets. It's crazy. This is interesting. This Digital Asset Investors put this up. This is Tony from Thinking Crypto, and Ron from Blockchain Association says, great clip from Thinking Crypto, interview with Ron Hammond. They're hearing us. Gary Gensler resigned. So let's take a quick listen into this one as well.
I'm curious, within the circles that you're in and speaking to different regulators and members of Congress and so forth and government officials, are they aware of how unhappy people are on social media over the SEC, whether it be crypto or stocks? There just seems to be a growing sentiment of distrust and just general not happy with the SEC? Are folks aware of that?
Yes, and I think there's some positive to that, and there's some negative too. I've had many conversations with members of Congress and staff about Twitter engagement, and they notice that when they tweet about crypto, they get a lot of responses, whether it be more about the Ripple case or more about the SEC enforcement actions on Coinbase or others, or just the general posturing from the SEC. That a lot of complaints, a little vitriolic for some of them. So members are saying, what's going on? What is this? And that's where they, have a lot of conversations with us about it. And it is trickling down, at least, especially on the Democrat side. I've talked to a lot of staffers who said, look, we're not fans of the SEC's approach. We don't like the language that's been spewed out from the industry, from more on the Twitter side. But at the same time, we do also have to admit that there is probably something going on here that we don't like. And I think the sign that this is actually trickling down to bipartisan criticism is the Blockchain 8 letter that Representative Emmer led a couple months ago, highlighting the SEC's inquiry into a lot of crypto companies, again, 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. That's pretty significant for 4 Democrats to go against their own party and say, look, we have concerns. We have met with the industry. We have heard from folks on social media. There is something going on. So it's pretty rare to have this bipartisan pushback, but it's growing. There's less folks in my conversations who are in the Gary Gensler SEC camp than those who are saying, I'm a little skeptical of this, and not even just for more political reasons that he has a Democrat next to his name. It's just more because we've been hearing this from a lot of stakeholders. So it's definitely resonating, to say the least.
So that's huge. I mean, it may seem monotonous at times, and obviously, the community's been here for some time, especially during this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit stuff. It seems almost like the work that the community has been, coming together in a decentralized community in a way. It seems monotonous, and it seems like we're not gaining any traction. No one's hearing us, but they're hearing us. There's people that are looking at these tweets, looking at all these videos, looking at the timeline, and obviously you have Johnny Deaton and Jason Foster from Empower Oversight and all the other great attorneys within the community that are really out there pushing our agenda and letting our voices be heard, which is absolutely massive. And I hope the audio isn't too loud, man, because it's kind of kicking up over here. But I wanted to touch on this one too. This is from the Bearable Bull. It says, Flare, XLS 20, case ends. XRP relisted, Ripple IPO, retirement. So I like this. Shout out Bearable Bull for this one. I really like this because, these are just like some, I guess you could say, some major milestones within the XRP community in Ripple, which is huge. And quite honestly, when you see this, you think like, man, that this will be huge if it just went boom, 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 and just everything just laid out perfectly. And, Ripple was, able to expand and scale and grow without, limitations and restraints. And XRP was able to actually have a level playing field, regulatory clarity, so it can do its thing. And all the investors that held strong over all these years, myself being in since late 2017, finally able to reap the benefits of holding strong. And the whole retirement thing is a major allocate and a major goal that a lot of the community members are trying to reach. So shout out to Bearable Bull for this. Flare, XLS 20, case ends, XRP relisted, Ripple IPO, retirement. That's huge. Financial freedom is key, man, in this space. It's huge. This is from Watcher News. Cardano of Vasil hard fork upgrade release date revealed. So it says, according to the input output in the Cardano Foundation, the Vasil hard fork upgrade is officially scheduled for September 22nd. So that's just an update for the Cardano community there. I hold some ADA myself. Coming up here from Cointelegraph, says gaming makes up over half of blockchain industry usage, DApp radar. The gaming sector accounts for nearly 51% of the activity in the blockchain industry, with hundreds of millions in transactions according to August data. So I'm not exactly 100% sure how they get their data, but I thought this was pretty informative, and it's really no surprise. I'm big into watching like streamers. I like playing video games with my family and my friends, and I can definitely see gaming within blockchain and this space, whether it's utilizing NFTs or whatever the case is within the game itself. I can definitely see it being a major part of the crypto space in general. That sector within the crypto space is going to be absolutely massive. But that's the update I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at CryptoIsKey1. I really appreciate your support. I'm going to continue to bring you content. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.